God wants you to get rid of the giants of bitterness. You know, bitterness can be a big mountain to keep you from getting to go where God wants you to go. Unforgiveness is a big old mountain. Worry can be a big old mountain. You need to look at it that way. There are giants that want to keep you from the promised land. There are giants that want to keep you from having the joy of the Lord to see the victory. You might have a financial mountain. Everything else, I don't know. And I don't know God's purposes and all about those things. I just know this much, that the Lord led me by the reading of His Word, by the meditating of His Word, to say, Reggie, why don't you do what the Bible says? You're always telling people to have faith. You're always talking about faith. Why don't you do what the Bible says? And I just simply believed God. Did it. And so forth. When you get into chapter 18, as I said, we're just browsing through Scripture. We're kind of going across the passage tonight. Jonathan makes a covenant. Jonathan is Saul's son. And I'm not going to preach on this message tonight, but there's a tremendous picture. Jonathan is a picture of a lost man coming to Christ. What a lost man needs to do when he surrenders to Christ. And he gives him different parts of his clothing and his armor and everything. And it's a beautiful picture. They make a covenant. I'm going to preach on that tonight. It's a picture of our covenant relationship with our Lord Jesus Christ, and I'll preach on that probably later. When you get into chapter 18 and verse number 5, now, at this point in David's life, he is on the mountain peak of public approval, okay? He has killed Goliath, and they're coming back into Jerusalem, coming back into town, and the women's out there, and they're singing, Saul killed his thousands, David had killed his 10,000. If you read the Bible there, the Bible says Saul was wroth. When Saul heard that, he got hot. And then the Bible said he eyed David. That means he. Have you ever had anybody look at you with that eye? You can tell they don't like you. Something wrong here, man. I got something in for you. You know, and I want to say this, not saying this pity party, it's just the truth. When you're preaching, you have to really deal with that. Because if somebody in the congregation gets it in for you, a lot of times what will happen is they'll sit back there and they will just, they're making sure that peripheral view, and they're making sure nobody else can see what they're doing. And they'll give you that eye. They'll give you that, I don't like you, and I'm here to aggravate you. And it's just, and this is something you have to deal with. Brother Bradley's trying to do it right now, but he's not doing a very good job. But if I'm just being honest, if some of you preach and so forth, and stuff like that, you need to get used to that. And by the way, if you're going to any kind of leadership, you think about what. Did you know that right now there's something like 12 to 14,000 Twitter threats on Donald Trump's life? 12 to 14,000 people have threatened to kill him. I'd like to have 14,000 people wanting to kill you. And anytime you're going to take a stand, you're going to say something, you're going to have opposition. Okay? So here's what happens. There's a funny thing I think is going on. I don't know whether I'm preaching or meddling tonight, but oftentimes, and this is funny, presidents have what's called a honeymoon time. Their approval rate goes up, everybody's and then from there on it's kind of like, slows down. I think there's a funny thing going to happen. I think he's going to start off one of the lowest popular presidents in history, and I think it's going to end, possibly, as one of the most popular presidents in history. Could be. But, and that's not the only thing. I'm just saying that a lot of times everybody wants that first honeymoon period. But what I see in him is that he's willing not to even have a honeymoon with the political establishment. We came here to do this job. We're going to try our best to get it done. Now, David is very, very popular. Everybody's singing his praises, but now the honeymoon's over because Saul is after him. And so you get into chapter 8, the anger of Saul, he got jealous of him. verse number 8, he begins to hate him, and he becomes a murderer. He wants to kill him. In chapter 18 also, you find something crazy. Saul gives him his daughter in verse number 19. It came to pass at that time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David. Now I'm going to stop here tonight. This is where we're going to browse through something. You know, you hear people talking about stuff that happened to you when you were young and how it affected you. I'm not a person who puts a lot of stock in that, because I think I think the world has overdone that, and you can go to seed on that, and you blame your past, or you blame what happened to you in the past, or somebody for something like. But there is a truth about it, that things that happened in your life when you're younger, if you don't deal with them right, can affect you very negatively as you get older. Now here's what happened. He was promised Saul's daughter, and her name is Merab. All right. She was supposed to be given to him, and she was given to Adriel to wife. Okay. Then, so I'm going to make a statement to you. This forever affected him. It forever affected him. He never got over this. You're going down through the chapter. Saul eventually found out that his second daughter, Michal, loves David, so he figures, okay, I'm going to give her to him, and then I'm going to use her as a snare to him. You don't read this in Scripture till you get way on up in 1 Samuel 25, and then in 2 Samuel 3 is the consummation of this thing. But you find out in 1 Samuel 25 that Saul, now David married Michal, okay? Now, how many of you know that later on Saul gave her to another man? This is interesting. David's first wife was stolen from him. David later on stole another man's wife. I'm going to tell you, early relationships, especially girlfriend, boyfriend, stuff, you're going to be really, really careful about it. You're going to be careful, because it can very heavily affect your entire way you look at marriage, the way you look at life, the way you look at the opposite sex, everything. And I believe you've watched the pattern from then on in David's life, that his dealing with a wife, first of all, he didn't get the one he was promised. She gave to somebody else. So he gets the second one. When he's in exile, she gets given to another man. Now I'm going to tell you a little something. David never got over that. I'm going to tell you why I know this. When David became king in 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse number 13 through 16, did you know that Abner comes up to David and says, hey David, I'm going to bring the kingdom to you, because he had quit Saul's guys, and he said, I'm bringing them all over. David said, you will not come to me unless you bring my wife to me. And he went down and got Michal, and the Bible said her husband followed her weeping. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not God. I don't know about it. But what I pick up with David, he didn't have the right attitude about women. And what happened to him from this point on, he got to picking up wives. And if you find out later on, just follow and read about him in his woman's situation. He gets totally messed up. He just starts picking up wives here and picking up wives there. And here's his problem. His heart was not with one woman. He'd gotten wounded. Now you listen to me. He'd gotten wounded in his heart as a young man. He'd gotten done dirty. He'd gotten done wrong. And this is important stuff. This is good preaching. This is good Bible tonight. That's why you kids want to be careful about giving your heart to anybody. Don't be messing around. Because it's very hard, and don't get yourself in a position where you can get hurt real bad. That's why you want to stay in your daddy's and mama's protection. Boy or girl. They might just tell you something, keep your heart from getting busted wide open. And you get in an attitude. I'm going to tell you the truth. My wife said here, but I had a horrible attitude toward women at about 18 to 22 years old. I had no respect for them. I don't know. And one thing, I got hurt, got my little heart broke, and it's just hard for me to have a right attitude. And I remember when I met Karen, it's just like, you know, that was it. I mean, I'm telling you, but